have and cooperation of the community. Really no other community in the West has this opportunity. I mean, it's something special that we're able to fill this need. So congratulations to you guys too, because we're all part of this. The other grant that we're going for, the EDA just opened up another grant, and I did submit something in your packet. It does relate to dark skies, and so I wanted to just kind of be ahead of the curve on this one about where are we going with this. The Department of Outdoor Recreation was instrumental in passing the SB 51 bill about the importance of our dark skies in Nevada, how it's part of our cultural heritage, and how we should be working towards preserving this asset that has dwindled everywhere else across the country. Because of that, the Department of Outdoor Recreation is applying for this EDA grant and would like to use White Pine County as kind of the case study for this. And what the grant would be is for developing a community workbook on how to take the steps to modify your community into an International Dark Sky certified community. And I will say that there is nothing in becoming a dark sky community that is geared towards squashing growth or squashing business. Essentially what it is we know growth is coming, we know expansion is coming, so what can we do to be as efficient as possible with our lighting? What can we do to save as much money for the county and the city by modifying this lighting while still preserving this asset that you've enjoyed and your parents have enjoyed and we want our kids to enjoy? So the grant, if you see it in the news, it's not about actually buying lights and starting to retrofit, even though we will be using Ely, Baker, McGill, who is wanting to modify their lights right now. I think it's just a good time with everybody looking to cut costs, become more efficient with their LED to see what we can do to become dark sky certified. So it certainly opens up a whole line of economic opportunities. It supports the national park, it supports the train. But pretty much what it is just a grant to develop the workbook on how to turn a community into a dark sky community. And at the end of that, we would have steps, we would have the cost, we would have everything for you guys to go ahead and make a decision on if that's something you would want to move forward with. So no surprises. If it shows up in the headlines, I just wanted you all to know what we were doing and everything like that. So are there any questions about that one?
Anyone?
Awesome.
Again,
Well, hey, thanks for your time. I really
awesome.
appreciate it. And again, if you know where to find me, but if you want me to make a presentation on anything tourism related, I'll be happy to come on back. So, thanks.
Kyle.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Kyle.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Kyle.
Okay, we're now going to go to page 5,
So cool.
and we are on item 2. It's Elizabeth Francis, Finance Director. Item A is discussion for possible action, the direction on inviting government supervisors and/or others to the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Justice Center project on the afternoon of October 27, 2021. Elizabeth?
Thank you. I have received direction to go ahead and invite different people for the ribbon cutting ceremony, but I was not clear on the direction related to the governor specifically. I'd like to state for the record that the state of Nevada has contributed $5 million of the courthouse project out of the $22.8 million total, or 22% of the total funding for that project. I think that in these circumstances, with that provision of funding from the state, it would probably be a good idea to go ahead and invite the governor. But this is a decision I would like to come from the county commission, and reaching across the aisle, saying thank you for the contribution. It never hurts. But again, I don't believe that's a decision I need to be making.
Anyone got a comment? There's a certain protocol that comes along when you have events and everything else, and who you invite and who you don't. Personality's out of it. Our job, we're a government entity, and we work hand in hand with the legislature with all kinds of different people, like or dislike. It's not a personality thing, it's not a person. But there are certain things, when you receive a buck from John Doe, like Mount Weaver Power and lots of other people, it's only proper that you recognize those people, and by inviting them, if they can make it, fine. If they can't, that's fine. But at least you reached out, and we are in respect of the office of government. We don't have to like the person in office, but we have to respect all government agencies, the President of the United States all the way down. You have to like them, but you need to respect and acknowledge those positions. We're all part of the government thing. So in inviting, like Elizabeth said, we got $5 million from the state. That's through the legislature, and the governor signed it in, or whoever got it, but it was a legislative process. We are having an event on the 27th that, changing from this courthouse to the new one, 100 years. It's one of the largest projects we've ever put on here in White Plains County. Who we invite, how we invite them, I think this item here is specific to the governor's office, and it wouldn't matter who's in. So that's my take on it. I think the protocol calls for us to invite certain representatives, our state senators, our state assemblymen, and all those people. So that's, I know there's some opposition to the personality part, but not to the office. I think we all agree with that. Travis?
I'm just gonna vote no on this, but here's my reasoning. You know, this would be a different scenario if I believed, even if, you know, I disliked our governor, but I really felt that he was a governor. He's a dictator. And that's my position on it, agree or disagree. You know, you've seen what his positions with our law enforcement, that building represents law and order. His positions on that has been eroding that very institution. He's caused millions upon millions of economic harm to our community. Our prison is on its last legs because of his vaccine mandates. I just don't see how in good conscience that a representative of this community that we can put out this invitation and not just be a slap into our face to our constituents who are losing their jobs, having their businesses shut down, being fined, et cetera, et cetera. If you know, if there were never such a thing as COVID, and he, you know, and it was his regular times and he was in there, I don't have a problem with this. But just how his actions and how far he has pushed the office of the governor and not adhering to our Constitution, I cannot in good faith vote to invite him. Thank you.
Anyone else? Ian, you got something to say? I don't know if he's on the phone or not anymore.
Please forgive if you hear a baby crying in the background.
Gotcha.
That's why I'm on Zoom. Yeah, I'm unsure. I really appreciated Richard's comments, and I do respect the office of the governor, and just at face value, I don't have any issue inviting the guy out here. I frankly don't know that he would come. I definitely believe that a precious institution and a precious part of this republic that we pledge allegiance to is the ability to have nonviolent political discourse, to have disagreement and still shake hands and still be able to move on. But Travis has made some very good points. So I'm going to say that I don't know that it would quite, I don't know if I'll take it as far as feeling that I'm slapping anyone in the face to invite him out. He knows how we feel about how he has governed. And I don't have any issue with extending an invitation if he wants to come. I'm willing to, I'd love an opportunity, quite frankly, to speak with him face to face and have a good discussion. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really on the fence about that. I really appreciate and hear where Travis is coming from in that. He has caused a lot of damage with areas that he has caused. He has just gone beyond his statutory authority, and he's caused a lot of wreckage all over the state. But yeah, at this point, I don't mind extending the invitation reluctantly.
Okay. Anyone else?
That was well said.
Yeah,
That was well said.
I agree with that. You know, sadly, we live in a time where having a difference of opinion ends up being, bringing you into being a victim of a personal attack. You know, used to be if you were in public office and someone didn't agree with you, you didn't show to their house, you didn't harass their families, you didn't do those kind of things. And we've come to this time where just the common courtesy of being able to have a difference of opinion without it becoming a personal war is gone. And I think I think to stand against that kind of activity, I think we do, that we'd be in our best interest to show respect for the office of the governor of the state of Nevada. Whether you respect the man or not, we respect the office and we extend the invitation.
And nevertheless, he did authorize the $5 million, his office did, I should say. It makes the situation, it makes it difficult to even take a high road, you know, to do the right thing, which you know, whatever that may be in one person's mind. I agree with all of you, but I do think on principle so far as the office itself and the fact that because of that office, it allowed us to have the needed $5 million, I would go ahead and make a motion to invite him.
Okay, is there any other discussion on this?
I just like, I definitely hear where everyone's coming from, and, I can completely see that point, just heart of hearts. I just really don't think the man cares for our state. It would be one thing if he cared for it and we disagreed on the policy to get there, but I really think that unfortunately, for whatever the reason is, he's out for the destruction of our state. I cannot on a moral standard invite someone of that, and that's my opinion, and I'm not taking this against anyone here. But I just wanted to add that in, that's where I come from, and, if he does show up and everything, I will show the respect, but, I just want to be clear is why I'm at the position why I'm at where I'm at, so.
Yeah, the only reason I oppose is just because if we were gonna really take the high ground on that, we'd have sent the $5 million back.
You're right.
And said we don't want it. But instead we took the money and once we've taken the money, then I think we're obligated to follow through on that. If we really wanted to play that tough, we say, well, yeah, we're not gonna invite him and we're gonna send this $5 million back and tell him where to, and I don't see us being willing to do that. And if we're not, then I think it warrants an invitation.
Okay, I think everybody's had their say. And
I'll make the second on that.
okay, Lori made the motion to go ahead and invite the governor, and Shane made the second. Is there any other discussion on it? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nate?
So Ian, Richard, Lori, and Shane, yes. Travis, no. Okay, we'll go on to item B. Discussion for possible action, direction on how to proceed with remedying 2 blighted county-owned buildings in Ruth, known as the Old Ruth Church and the New Ruth Club.
Okay, thank you. And there was information and pictures in your backup. I hope you took time to go ahead and review those documents and pictures. There are 2 buildings up in Ruth that we can go ahead and remediate for slum and blight through CDBG. One way they can be remediated is to go ahead and demolish the buildings, and the other way is to go ahead and allow for structural improvements to the buildings, but we can't do anything with the interiors of the buildings. It has been suggested that some of these buildings are beyond reasonable repair, and that it is not worth the time and effort that would be put in to go ahead and solve the structure of the building, especially if we don't have specifics on how we're going to renovate the inside. So what we're looking for is, as we move forward through the CDBG process and look for funding on remediation of these particular facilities, how would you like us to proceed, either with demolition or try to structurally remediate these 2 properties, the Old Ruth Church and the New Ruth Club?
Back when, about 4 or 5 years ago, we authorized a citizen of Ruth, we gave him no tax and everything to remodel one of the buildings. And we gave him 3 years to try to get some funding. He didn't go anywhere with it. we have some burned down buildings, we have people, rummaging through these old things, they're dangerous, they're so old, and one of the things about the one building that, the one citizen, he got in there, and the first thing was, it was $50,000 just to do the roof. And that was before he started on any of the projects, but these buildings have been abandoned for a long, long time. I understand Ruth's position, as far as historical part goes, but what is in the best interest of the citizens of Ruth? Is it in the best interest to try to continue to remodel or maybe rehab these buildings? Or is it in the best interest to tear these old buildings down, get rid of some cats or whatever's in those buildings, or even homeless people? I feel the danger of those buildings and keeping them and trying to make them work is just kind of like beating a dead horse. So that's, we've had these issues before. It is so costly to renovate a building, any building, be it Ruth, McGill, no matter what. The cost to renovate is so high, and then the usage, what is the bang for the buck? I don't really see any, that's my own personal opinion. Sometimes you have to make hard decisions, but that's what we're here for. We are acting on behalf of the citizens of Ruth and the county, and we go on forward with some abandoned buildings in McGill and every place, Cherry Creek. But we're gonna face these issues. Do you wanna hold on to them, continue, or should we just demolish them and try to make it safer? That's my opinion. So I would welcome anybody else, Shane.
I agree with the Ruth Club that I mean, obviously, it's not going anywhere. I mean, we bought it off the out of the tax sale. We turned it over to someone. Nothing's gonna happen with that. That Ruth Church, though, I think that needs to stand. Ruth, with the move in the 50s, lost so much of their history, so much of it was disseminated and moved out all over the county. This is one of the few items that continues to stand for them. And I think that if we can make an effort to try and salvage that, that is a big piece of Ruth history, and would just be sad to see that go.
Well, we did demolish the Ruth Grade School that was built in like 1955, a beautiful school, beautiful gym. And that was just, through the school district, was.
Right, but this is an original church to old
The
Ruth.
church, yeah.
This goes back to the founding days of Ruth. And the fact that it survived the move and it made it this far, I just have a hard time deciding that should go away. The history of old Ruth is disappearing quickly.
Okay. Anyone else?
Auction them off,
No,
yes.
I
Yeah,
haven't.
Mary.
Can I
Yeah.
say something?
Please.
Richard, that's up to you if you would like to accept public comment at this time, but you're not required to.
Yeah, I think Mary's got a lot of involvement, a lot of knowledge, so please come forward with a lot of this.
Well, I hate to say that, but the New Ruth Club is not that old, because it's about my age, and I'm not that old. It was, that and the commercial club were built in Ruth. And the town of Ruth would love to have that as a museum, because it's across from the Fallen Miners Memorial, and across from where we're putting old mining equipment. Now, the old church was a community church built in Old Ruth in 1912. It needs a lot of work done, but I have a grant through SHPO that we can get to help with the buildings. And there's a lot of grants out there that can help us with those buildings. That, unfortunately, the old church was not put on a good foundation, Kennecott, when we put them on wooden foundations. But the New Ruth Club is on a cement foundation. And the inside has not been, there's no problems with the inside at all. But, you know, it would be a perfect place for a museum. And especially since don't have a bathroom at the other place, there will be one there. But it's not that old. It would be really nice to fix up the old church, but it's gonna be very expensive because it needs a new roof. The fire department put a new roof on about 15 years ago, when Martin was alive. But the inside's got rotten wood, needs a new foundation. But I guess that grant will only pay for the outside. You know, but the New Ruth Club just needs a new roof. Foundation's fine on that building. You know, and it was built, it's part of the New Ruth history, not the old Ruth, but the New Ruth history. But if that old building, the old church, would be a guy that bought one of the houses in Ruth bought the old Skaggs building, and he's making apartments out of it. They came from Old Ruth, it's old, it was a commissary in Old Ruth. And he wants to buy that building that's going up for the guy that killed the trooper. It's gonna be for sale, he wants to put apartments there. So he might be willing to buy that old church, because he wants to make housing in Ruth. Because there's not enough housing in West Pine County, period. You know, but we don't have, the only place we have on.
Move to table.
So moved.
Motion by Travis,
Second.
second by Shane. Any further discussion?
I'd just like to see, we talked 90 days, I'd like to see this back on the agenda for the first week in January, just for a report back, just so we can see what the progress is made on the, in the grant process.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
And I had the
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chachis reporting.